Hey, Zaka family! Zaka is launching an exclusive membership platform to provide you with career development workshops, coaching, community, and so much more. Go to ZakaConnect.com and sign up to receive information on how to access early registration and perks. Hello, everybody. This is Paul Herman, the Prince of Motivation and host of Zaka Presents My Journey. We're creating this vulnerable and positive platform where you can get inspired and motivated from different leaders from our community. Today, our guest is Jean-Paul Laurent, who is an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and founder of Unspoken Smiles. Jean-Paul, welcome to the show.
Hey, Greg, thank you for having me on the show. It's a great honor to talk to your audience, and I'm truly honored to be here and share my story, and super excited.
Well, it's an honor to have you on, and having you as an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and obviously the founder of Unspoken Smiles. Must have gone through a lot of ups, downs, goods and bads, and I'm looking forward to
That's
diving
right.
into your story and hearing a lot about that. But one of the first things I want to kind of get across to the listeners is if you could just give us a little bit more of a background of where you're from and your culture, for example, your cultural background and where you grew up.
Okay. Yes, so initially, I was born and raised in Haiti, Port-au-Prince, and which is also where I met Greg. We were in the same high school together.
Mm-mm.
And growing up in Haiti, I was like a Duvalier era type of kid. So we kind of experienced both the ugly, the good, and the bad of Haiti. But so this is also a part of me that kind of make it uh, shape me into who I am right now in terms of resiliency because we experienced so much in Haiti. And but I would say I had like a really fair upbringing, and with my family, all my family in Haiti, we never traveled anywhere. The only place we knew was Haiti, and it was my everything. It was everything I knew until we traveled to the U.S. As an adult. So I'm truly happy that I was born in Haiti. It will shape me into who I am today, and that's pretty much it.
Hmm. And how was your childhood growing up in Haiti? What was like one of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome?
Well, I think on the personal level, I think like Haiti, like on the regular level, there's always obstacles that in terms of political environment that prevent people from living a good life, and also financial situation is also always a big trouble because we're in a rich family in Haiti. But I think for me personally, I had like a different type of upbringing because you know when I got into high school, I find myself having a lot of trouble because I was like mostly like a people pleaser. So whenever they needed to disturb the class or do something funny and make people happy, so I will be the one to go, or like people will be sending me, knowing that I'm brave enough to challenge anybody, even the teachers or the school principal. And at the end of the day, I would be the only one getting in trouble. And to the point that I got kicked out of school like twice in my life.
Mm.
And yeah, and
Wow.
yeah,
What
after the
age are we
second,
talking about?
we're talking about like 15, 16 years old. Uh, yeah, so, and those moments, after the second time when I got kicked out, so that's really when I was like, man, my dad, who's a school principal, had to go to trouble to find a school for me because no other school wanted to take me because I didn't have good behavior, even though my grades were really good. So when I saw my dad go to whatever he was going to find a school, I was like, man, I needed to change my life, and that's where I switched from like a people pleaser to really focus on on myself and bettering myself as a person. And since then, I never got into trouble ever again in school or in my life. And and then until I graduated high school and left Haiti. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
so and the good and the bad thing about that is that many people were my age were also like having trouble never recover themselves in terms of having good behavior. Many of them ended up in drugs. Many of them died because they got into worse trouble in life. So I'm really thankful that I was able to shift my life from being like a turbulent kids in school to really to where I am today.
mm-hmm. And what type of values, hard work, like discipline, were instilled in you growing up, and which kind of played a major role in your academic success and also like in your success here in the United States?
Well, I think probably like the most I would say is just like my heart, I have a very good heart. And I think throughout the years, I learned to leverage that to really shape me into the leader I am today. Because if you are, there's different type of leadership. If you're not a caring leader, then, you know, the purpose of what you're trying to do may not fit the result of what you plan on doing. So I think one of the things that values that I hold true is I have a good heart, and I think the second one would be uh, I'm very persistent, and because to despite the challenges, despite the hurdles, I still find ways uh, to to get to the result that I want. It's through persistence. Even if I'm being rejected many times, I still keep pushing until I get what I want, even if it's not the right time. But it doesn't matter. I'll still be persistent until I get the result that I wanted to get.
Hmm, hmm. Now, in Haiti, I mean, there's a
Hmm.
culture, there's a pulse in Haiti, right? You know,
Hmm.
the Haitian culture is brought up on a lot of love, like you said right there. You said like having a good heart. What does your culture mean to you directly?
I mean, I think look, my culture is everything for me because even right now when I live in the US or even in Costa Rica, when I talk to people, the first thing that they ask, where are you from? So many people may take offense of that, but for me, it's always a pleasure to tell them I'm from Haiti, and I'm glad that you asked because to me, you see a reflection of an entire country, and and I think we have a very special culture, and throughout my work, I mentioned that how proud I am to be Haitians and how I was also happy that my organization, like the biggest project in my entire life, was born in Haiti, even though it was born through tragedy. But nonetheless, this is a project that was born in Haiti by a Haitian man, and be able to take it all around the world. So, I mean, that's it.
Hmm. And it seems I know that's the Haitian culture. You guys stick together. Like it's like a
Yeah, I mean it's important because you know what, as Haitian, we are the keepers of our own legacies. We are not like the Jamaicans where they get a lot of support to the music, to the other things. We are the keepers of our own legacies in the sense that we have to fight as twice as hard to really push and promote whatever we are doing, either as a person or as a business or as a culture. So
Mhm.
so yeah.
I get you. That's hey, look, man, ça passe. I mean, I try
Yes,
my
we gotta
best to
get that.
catch up. A lot of the
That's
guests
it.
that have been on the show are
Mhm,
from Haiti,
mhm.
and it's a lot of lovely stories, that they share about the country and where it is right now from where it was back in the days. And
Yeah.
one of the things that they always talk about is just the love, the culture, the unity, the family. A lot of that
Mhm,
upbringing, which a lot of the guests, when now that I think back of it, I could see exactly it
mhm.
transpired into their lives currently today. And I'm
Absolutely.
I'm assuming at that point in time, that same love, passion, you took it over to the United States. Like I know that was a little big leap right there. Like when you came to the United States, like what was like the goal for yourself? Like
Mhm.
you pull up, you're in the States now. You're not in Haiti, Port-au-Prince. You're like,
Mhm.
all right, what we doing? Like, what's the first thought? Like, what is the first accomplishment you're trying to go for?
Yeah, I mean, I think to bridge the difference, like in Haiti, we are not like the US where we have that entrepreneurial spirit where people are go-getters, they go to think because like even if you have the highest education, I have friends in Haiti with master's degrees and who's home in the mama's house playing dominoes, every day. So, and they are like super smart, brilliant, and everything like that. So, like the situation in Haiti doesn't really offer much in terms of having a few people, certain people, or the majority of people knowing exactly what they want to do in life. They just kind of go, year by year until something could happen, unless they get lucky or they get placed in just the right position at the right time, then they can then figure out what to do. But for me, when I heard I was going to the US at the age of 21, so I was already adult, I was already at university in Haiti, I had enough, knowledge and basic and the educational background to thrive anywhere I wanted in the US. And in fact, I credit a lot of my knowledge to the education that I received in Haiti, because when I got into college in Haiti, things I was doing in high school, that's what I was doing in college, university in the US. So I credit like, but again, right now it's still not the same. But back in the days, during my era, my generation, I believe received a solid education in Haiti. So, but when I make that transition, like remember, like Haiti, the Haiti was the only place I knew. I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I was in university and never know where life will take me. But when I had the opportunity to move to the US, fairly quickly because I didn't plan anything. So I say, you're turning 21, you have to go before your birthday in December. So I was like, oh, okay. So I
Wow.
was like rushing to get all my paperwork, medical and things done. I didn't get even I didn't even have the time to say goodbye to a lot of my friends. And so just everything happens really fast. So I wasn't really prepared for that. So when I got in the US, and then the other challenge became because we didn't have our dads or our moms in the US ahead of time to prepare for us. So we all came all at once at the same time. So we all had to figure out the same thing
Mm,
by ourselves. So that presented another challenge because we were lost. We didn't know what to do. So, and at that time, so I was like hungry for success because I knew where I came from,
mm,
and
mhm,
and
mhm.
I automatically that have that drive in me. I had to do something with my life. But one thing is I always knew that I love education. I love learning. So I knew that I wanted to continue learning to get the education that I want. So, and I credit my uncle for that because 1 week after we got in the US, the next Monday, the first place he took me is to a BOCES where you can learn English.
Mm,
And I credit him for that because, like, most of the Haitians, when they come to the US, like, they spend more time partying and having fun
you're
rather
like, all
than
right, we here
just
now.
go,
Let's celebrate.
yeah, rather than go for education. But the first thing that he brought me was school to learn English. So I kind of kept that going on for forever. And until like within 1 week, I was in the same room as my dad, learning basic English because I didn't speak English. So at some point, 3 months in, I realized that man, I have enough language to move on to the next grades. And so each time I would go to the principal and say, hey, I believe that I'm more advanced than this class, so can I take the test to move on to the next class? So
Mm,
he saw my passion, he saw my vision. So he kind of like said, yes, go for it. So I went on to the next class. And then the same thing happened after a certain while when I had enough to move on to the next challenge. So I did the same thing. I asked him. So within 1 year, I managed to transfer all the classes that typically take people 3 years to complete. And because I already had my high school degree, so I didn't have to take GED and all the other class. So I went straight to the last level and then get enough writing skills and English knowledge to take the college entrance exam to be able to start college. So, which is what I did. And then I went to college within 2 years. I graduated with the college. And then that's when I made the big leap of my life because I always wanted to be in the medical field. And then I applied to NYU College of Dentistry where I got accepted. So I went to studying dental hygiene there.
Mm-hmm.
And then while I was there, that's when the earthquake happened in Haiti. And
Yes.
I traveled there to support the kids, and that's where Unspoken Smiles was born.
Okay, I like how you just took us on a journey and kind of broke that down. So you were, first off, commend you on the whole thing of like going to your principal. Something that we a lot of the guests have talked about is like finding your voice and speaking up, advocating for yourself, right?
Yes,
Especially
yes.
being an immigrant, that's one of the things that, at times, they're like, yeah, we came to the country, our parents, they didn't know how to advocate for themselves. So they kind of had to stay where they were,
Yeah.
And you're afraid if you advocate for yourself, you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And then, also the language barrier was also a thing, but you took your uncle, shout out to your uncle for helping you out with that,
That's
into
right.
the courses for the English. And then from there, like every time you felt like you were at a higher level, you just went to the principal and said, look, this is what it is. I feel like I'm at a level. And that must have been a little nerve wracking at first. But once you got it out of the system, it's like it was easier to go back again because you actually had facts. You were like, look, I'm strong enough. It's not like you were walking up there prematurely saying, look, I just don't want to be in this class. Like you put the work in. And
exactly. Yeah, no, I certainly
3
did.
years.
Yeah. And I think one of the things too, because those institutions they rely on having people in the program in order to get funded. So if for me, jumping from classes to classes actually could be a loss for them because the number of funding they could receive based on the number of people per classes would be reduced because of me jumping from classes to classes within 1 year. So it was really like a pure luck. And also with my demeanor, like I'm always kind, I'm always friendly, I'm always happy. So that kind of attracted people to my personality and also make it easier for me to get what I want, And so I think like that because I don't think this will work for everybody because if everybody wanted to just go to classes and jump into classes, then it could create a major problem. But because for me, I strongly felt that I had enough, and the teacher agreed to that. They tested me before they sent me for to get the permission, and I passed it with a very high grade. So that's why it was a big mix, and I kind of carry on this model to all the other schools that I want, even like to my master's at Columbia University. Because when I decided to start the nonprofit, I didn't know anything about the nonprofit world. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the knowledge. And I needed to have something like that when I made that decision. And when I got to the program, I told the school of faculties, listen, this is the project that I'm building for my life. And there's something, I understand the core classes, I need to take them, but some electives I would need to be taking things based on what I needed to learn. So they agreed to that, and then they allowed me to take classes at the Columbia Business School, Columbia Law School, and other school that I needed, which was also a first for the program as well.
Now, something that you mentioned a few minutes ago, you talked about, being at NYU, then you went back home to Haiti. You mentioned about the whole earthquake and how the whole Unspoken Smiles was created. I commend you for going back home. during that time.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
hard to probably even go back and witness something like that. The place that you grew up, the streets that you
Yeah.
used to walk and play with your friends, to see
Hmm.
the rubble and the chaos that was there,
Hmm.
right? And the struggle. It was already a struggle already with people,
Hmm.
the economy, but then to have that be another factor, right? So you're back
Exactly.
home. Like, what was share with us like a defining moment that kind of inspired you to create something so
Hmm.
beautiful?
Yeah, I mean, when I was in school, when the earthquake happens, like I saw like everybody was going to the programs, and the people from a different country were helping Haiti. And as a Haitian citizen, I really was propelled to do something. I was like, what could I do to make a difference? What could I do? Because at that time I lost friends that I went to high school with. My family was still, some of my family was still there. My older sister was still living there. My nephew was there. So I still have like a solid family there, and I really wanted to figure out the best way to help out and support and get engaged. So what I did, the first thing I did, and I failed. I wanted to set up a fundraising program, because at that time I used to do events. So I wanted to set up a fundraising program to raise funds for Haiti. And I asked the dean permission to do it. They declined. They say no. The students are already paying so much money for the thing, and then we cannot allow that to happen. And then the next day, I received like an email from the student president, uh, asking all the students to give money to a fundraising, that using the same knowledge information that I shared with the dean. So
Mm,
I kind of was like, wow, wait a minute. So what is going on? So from that time, so like one of the person that say, oh, this is really not that right, the way to do it. One of the student spoke out about that strongly, and that's when the dean said, oh, we're gonna send you a check to be able to do that. I say, no, I don't need it. You can keep the check, keep your fundraising, all you have to do. So at that time, I kind of like used that setback to say, hey, I'm gonna show them that I can do everything by myself and go to Haiti. So I reached out to a few friends and got the support. I reached out at that time to Enrishan, which is like the world's largest dental suppliers. So they sent me some supplies to take with me. So,
mm,
and then once I got all this, I returned back to Haiti. This was the first time I returned to Haiti since moving to the US. So, and it was the first time too, I really saw or experienced the poverty in Haiti from that lens. Because when I was in Haiti, that was everything that I knew. I didn't know about anything else. So I didn't know how people live, and it didn't really hit me when I lived to. Of course, I enjoyed the moment. I saw big buildings that I never saw before. I saw many more diversity from different people from different culture, which I never experienced in Haiti. But when I returned back, and the roads became smaller, and I saw the poverty in people's face. I saw everything. So that started to make a big change in me.
mm. That was like the
So
thing, seeing all that. You're like, all right,
exactly,
we need change out here. And you can't wait for
exactly.
the change to come to you.
Exactly, but if you are in Haiti, you never traveled anywhere, you won't know the condition you are living. So that's why, unless you travel and come back to the country to really, you won't be able to see the difference in how people live. Right now it's a little bit better because with internet, people are able to see other people from the world how they live and all those kind of things. But to experience a different life other than the one in Haiti, if you never travel, it's completely different. And I
Mm,
really get to experience it when I returned for the first time. And then
wow.
when I returned, I went with my brother to a camp near our homes that was displaced. And the moment we announced that, hey, we are here to see the children, and then we were flooded with thousands of people, like including like many
Jeez.
children and adults. who wanted to just who lined up, waiting for them to be screened by me. And so I was like overwhelmed because what I was still a student and what I was learning in school, I was seeing them in real life when I opened the kid's mouth, and the advanced infections that I saw in the mouth. So really, like, it was like, hey, there's something I need to do. But what really changed me and touched me was like, man, these kids, they are at a camp. They just experienced one of the worst things in their life with all these destructions all around. I expected them to be sad and to be unhappy, and then they were just like so happy to see me and to receive like something as simple as a toothbrush. So
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
man,
yeah. Especially in a time
yeah,
like that, like, something
exactly.
simple could really mean
Something
something
as
so
simple
big.
as that. Yeah. And it was at
Mm.
that moment I truly found my calling. And that's where the name Unspoken Smile came from, because behind those smiles, I wanted
Ah,
to tell the story, the hidden story behind those smiles.
mm.
You see, like
Okay,
people,
you got
yeah.
deep. You went deep with it. Okay, I see what I'm thinking like,
That's
okay, we
right.
got it. But that's a nice title right there. But it really connects to the story, and I love
Exactly.
when I hear companies or organizations that have a title or something as powerful as that,
Mhm.
but there's a story to the actual title. So the
Exactly.
purpose never leaves, the mission never leaves because you're saying
Never.
it every day.
Exactly.
It's on your
And,
clothes, it's
and
on your
yeah.
hat, it's apparel, it's everywhere you go. You're like, yeah.
And it's on people's face because everybody's wearing the smile, but it's the story behind the smile that is more important to me. And that's where we go behind the smiles and tell the story, because even though people are smiling, they are hurting, they have everything, they have infections in their mouth, but they still find a reason to smile. So then as an organization, we go behind the smile, we see behind what's happening to them, what's causing them to have poor oral hygiene, since our focus is oral health, but the social determinants causing people from not having access to proper dental care or some economic hardship. So we go in and fill those gaps together to help people to be happier and live a healthier
Mhm.
life.
And
So that's
that's
what.
more the
Mhm.
mission.
Exactly.
Okay, now I can see. I see now. I see the full scope of it with the mission and stuff.
That's
Think
right.
it's a beautiful thing that you went there not knowing you were gonna do something like that. Like you went there
Yeah,
just willingly. Like, look, I'm just here to help. This is where I grew up. This
exactly.
is my culture. This is my community. I'm here to help. And because you had a little, you made a like you said, you will never know what life really looks like for you unless you go somewhere and visit it. That's why I always recommend people to travel the world, see the world, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
when you see the world, you start to think about where you are. And you're like,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I should be making some changes in my life to accommodate myself and
Hmm.
what's going on. But I'm glad that you were able to go back and create something so beautiful. Again, the Unspoken Smiles. And I definitely want you to make sure at the end of our conversation, just let the listeners know where they could find all that information. But as
Yes.
um as a
Yeah, but I
go ahead.
wanted to add also, like, to piggyback what you just said. It's just like for many people always asking me, oh, I want to start a nonprofit. How could I do it? You know, and I always tell them, for me, like, you know, you cannot just decide to start a nonprofit, because it's not like something like you could just like wake up and say, hey, I see this guy is doing those things, I want to do it too. It's not like that for me. And I wish it was that easy, and what I always tell them is that many people in their life will come across some something that could change their life. For me, it was the tragedy that propelled me to start the nonprofit. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I wanted to study dentistry, make money, and have a good time, and buy big mansions. And this was my like ultimate goals, because I knew where I came from, and I wanted to have like that selfish motivation and live the American dream, but still work hard and study hard towards that. But
Mhm.
the tragedy that happened in Haiti, and me being in that moment, that's where I find my calling. But I still figure out a way to leverage the education that I received and to map out a project that not only serve what I study, but also other people.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be very hard for me to tell people what to do because I crafted and I base everything that I like. If you know this, whether it's like the nonprofit sector or the businesses that I launch or anything else that I do, everything that I do evolve around oral health, dentistry, and dental care. You know, so and I really crafted it this way in order for it because they are all interconnected. And once one of them take off like really big, all the other ones will take off at the same times. You know, whether it's the patent toothbrush and other venture that I do, the clinic and everything like that. So I specifically designed it this way. Uh, but it was based on that situation. That's why I always tell people, don't just see what people are doing and decide you want to do it too, because you have to have the why you're doing it. And if the why is not strong enough, when the hard time comes in, you're gonna give up and you're gonna
Mm.
fail.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And for me, even though I received many challenges, I had like a major accident, almost died after the second trip in Haiti, and I'm still here. I've done it all around the world and I continue to do it. It's because the why was there and it was strong. Because if the why wasn't there, if I was doing it to please people or to people for people to see what I was doing, I would quit that a long time ago and focus on other things. But I strongly felt the why. I strongly find my calling in that moment when I was helping with the kids, and I made that commitment. Until this day, I'm still doing it, not just in Haiti, but many places around the world.
And we gonna talk about that. We gonna get into that. I mean, but I
Yeah.
want to know as an immigrant, and a social entrepreneur, like,
Hmm.
you have there, key challenges, when you face when you were starting Unspoken Smiles.
Hmm.
Like, what was one of them that you had to overcome? Besides, like, obviously opening a nonprofit, that's a big thing to do, all the paperwork and all that. But, you
Yeah.
know, did you have any like setbacks when doing it?
Yeah. So my setbacks weren't really on setting up the nonprofit because I managed to figure out a smart way to get everything that I want without money. You know, so there are like many organizations out there, many
Hmm.
people don't know about that, so that's why this could be like the strongest learning opportunities for many people. You don't have to have money to start something, either a business or a nonprofit. If you have a strong enough ideas and you have the passion for it, there are tons of resources out there for you that you can explore to get off the ground, to get started, you know. And for me, that resource was like one of the on an organization called the Resolution Project. So at that time, they were having like a conference at Harvard University. So when I learned about that through my research, so I traveled to that competitions, that conference, and pitch Unspoken Smiles, you know. And then when I pitched Unspoken Smiles and I ended up winning that competition, so then I was lucky. So what that happened to me, they gave me a seed funding to start the program and do whatever things that I needed to do. And also they connected me with resources that I needed to run the organization. Because let's say like you can give me like $50,000 from the very beginning of Unspoken Smiles. So that money will go fast within 1 year and may not realize anything at all because I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have any mentors to work it out, right?
Hmm.
But because I was part of that fellowship program, they not only give me seed funding, but they also connected me with the resources to help me set up the organization free of charge because they
Oh,
have like
let's
partnerships.
come on now. Drop a
Yeah,
gem, drop a gem.
that's it.
Hope y'all listening,
Yeah,
listeners, free of
yeah, they
charge.
have partnership with organizations and law firms that offer pro bono services. Where through that platform, they connected me with lawyers to the pro bono services that help me register the organization for free. And then from that, I kind of say, "Wow, there are resources like this out there. So bring it on." So
Hmm.
like the entire existence of the organization was based on those kind of relationship, you know.
That's
And then
good, man.
even to this day we still manage to do that. So again, we I was able to maximize the resources that were available to me to create impact globally, at the same time save a lot of money. So whatever I needed to travel to a country, I just pitch it to an organization or a corporation. They will send it to me. I raise some money. I travel to just put those bags in my bag and then carry them on to India or other places. And then boom, we got the pilot program, we got the model up and running. So at that time, so because as Haitian, you always a target also. Like I really was scared to raise money for a program that wasn't really established. So that was for me a way to not only protect myself and build something, a result that people can buy into, before launching like the major fundraising strategies that would allow us to scale the program. But there are many opportunities, many organizations, many business out there that offer resources, especially right now for minorities group, where you don't have to spend all the capital that you have, you raise primarily if you as a startup, but you can leverage those organizations to pitch your idea, and if you win, they'll give you seed money, they give you resources and connect you with mentors that allows you to build a stronger foundation for success.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And
Yes, sir.
a lot of times people just don't know that those things even exist, right? You got to
That's
really
right.
look for them. And more importantly,
Exactly.
you have to know people that know about those things and people who are willing to
Exactly.
like extend their hand and let you know that those things exist. Especially like for example, a lot of the guests on the show had always expressed about like, being in college, being at a university. They take they migrate to the United States. They're coming in with their family members. They move over here. College taught them a lot of things, but then when they graduated, they were like, "Look, it didn't prepare me for this. Like, they didn't tell
Exactly.
me about this.
Yeah.
They didn't tell me that I could find money here. I could develop or set up
Exactly.
my LLC or my S corp. They weren't
Mhm.
really. They broke down a lot of the generic stuff. But then they're like, I spent a lot of money on college,
Yeah,
and
I
now
had
I'm
people
finding
who were
about all this
doing
stuff now.
masters.
You know?
I, I had people who were doing masters and didn't know what they want to do. Master
Oh
degree and
wow,
paying like over $100,000 at Columbia University, and still didn't figure out what they want
nah.
to do. But
That's
for
my
me,
cue.
I plan ahead of time. I plan my associate, I plan my bachelor, I plan my master, I plan my doctorate. Everything is planned ahead of time. You know,
Mm. That's my cue right there. If I'm
that's
in a
it.
college spending that type of money and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm trying to do. We're gonna
Yeah,
stop right. We're gonna stop right there.
exactly,
Mm.
exactly.
Now I know your work like extends both like oral health, and you talked about that, and like what is the disadvantage in regions? Like, could you like elaborate about like what is like the holistic approach that like
Mhm.
Unspoken Smiles takes?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really like this question a lot because uh, for the most part of my life, that's what I was working to do, to build a solid model that is truly unique to me, and always also more importantly, really designed to make a difference in people's life. And that is no other organization is doing out there, because there's so much organization giving people food, giving clothes, all those things existed like in record numbers. So for me, I always like to stand out. I always strive to be the first to do something to accomplish the men of many first, and and that will also like come with a lot of benefits at the end once you achieve those titles. But for me, I spend a chunk of my time truly build something that is unique and that can be implemented anywhere around the world. So in fact, the solution that we have right now was based on the initial pilots that we've done in countries like India, learnings that we have from Kurdistan, Iraq, Romania, El Salvador. So we had project in 10 countries across 4 continents, you know? And what that did, because even though dental problems affect everyone's from everywhere, 3.58 billion people are affected by oral problems. 538 million children are currently living with untreated to decay. So that's nearly half of the world population affected by dental problem, but those problems differs based on each country's culture,
True.
environment, socioeconomic status, right?
Mm.
So, and the diet, because the issue that affect people in India is completely different in Haiti. They don't have the same diet, they don't have the same culture, they don't eat the same things. So, a lot of when we decided to design our solution, we had to take into consideration each of those problems, even though the main problem was oral health that we were tackling, right? And the two major things that that prevent people from having proper oral health, one of them is access to it. You know, it's difficult to access. There's a huge gap between dentists and the population, and people live very far. Like sometimes there's places that have no dentists at all. They rely on charity organizations to travel to those communities to provide care on an annual basis. So access is a major problem. And that was also part of our solution to really find a way to tackle this problem. The second major problem that we noticed around around the world is the issue of um, it's not of the access and cost, right?
The cost of that.
Affordability. It's not.
Yeah, that's a very
It's
expensive
either
thing.
very expensive or you can't find it at all. It's not designed for you, right? So when we design a solution, we had to design a solution that take into consideration socioeconomic status, right? And but also at the same time quality and all of that. So so those learnings that we have, we designed a solution based on all those learning that we learned through the pilot program around the world, and which is currently being implemented right now in Costa Rica. So the model that we are building right now in Costa Rica for the Americas region is focused on access, quality, and cost of dental care.
And this is where you are currently right now, Costa Rica.
Currently, Costa Rica. So in terms of access, what do we do? So in terms of access, we build an actual clinic. So people can get access, especially children can get access to free preventative dental services. So if you're a child, you're in school in Costa Rica, through a clinic, you'll get access to free preventative services every year. Right?
Okay, I see what
So
you're doing.
how we maintain this, because there's a cost associated with that.
Yeah,
right?
a lot.
So how do we pay for all this? So we designed a innovative model, subscription model for this, because everyone is doing subscription right now. You pay $14 for Facebook every month to have like a blue check. You pay $11 for Twitter to get a blue check. So we designed a $17 a month subscriptions where adults will pay the subscription fees, and you get access to unlimited services for yourself and your family. So that way we continue to support that this sustainable revenue model will create less dependency on donation. And we can use those funds as we bring in more people to expand the program throughout the country and eventually throughout the entire region. So that $17 a month is a fairly amount that we calculated that will not break the bank, but also will be enough for us to provide the service that we provide, because we made a decision to only focus on preventative care, because we strongly believe dental problem is 100% preventable, and through prevention we can solve or stop many problems that could later appear later on if you have poor oral hygiene. So that's one of the solutions that we have.
I like the subscription thing. I think that's a very nice, a very smart way of doing it. So it doesn't really stress anybody out. You're like, okay, every month it's this amount. This is how much it is, and you have access. So you've traveled around the world. I mean, Costa Rica is one of the places you've probably been to.
Yes.
That's an
and
amazing life right there. To
yeah.
be able to know that you're leaving your mark on this world, and also you're leaving a mark with a smile, right? Like that's a
Mhm.
beautiful thing. Leaving people with
Exactly.
a smile. Helping them
Exactly.
to create even a vibrant and a vibrant smile. I think that's a beautiful job in a sense. It's very rewarding, and to know that
Yeah,
you're
I
doing
mean,
it for the right reasons, and you're it's well thought out. Like you said, the subscription, like that
yeah,
would help anybody.
exactly. So, and also support the expansion, because if you're an adult, like if you're a family, you're a father or mother with 3 children, and knowing that your child will be able to get free preventative care that could help them develop healthy habits for the rest of their life and avoid pain and avoid problems, then this is a win-win situation for everyone, right? And because we are a charity, that $17 subscription is also tax deductible, right?
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So like no one else out there have this kind of model, uh, as a combination of service and also, education, you know.
That's
And
nice.
so far, the Costa Rican government have been very welcoming of this idea. In fact, they work swiftly with us. Like within 1 year, we already have all our licenses and permits to be fully operational. And so right now, it's a matter of raising capital to like for renovations and complete every other things that we want to do in the clinic that we already have, and then from there we do the grand opening and make it happen.
Hmm. Now, your line of work, you work with a lot of great people. First off, you met a lot of people, but I mean, you definitely work with a lot of influential world leaders, right?
Hmm.
Celebrities, as well too. And especially when you're dealing with charitable causes, things that kind of help in other individuals that can't get those types of services. Like, what
Hmm.
names? Could you name someone that was a person that you can't believe that you met?
Yes, I mean, I met a lot of exactly a lot of people. I've been very lucky to be in rooms with some of the most powerful people in the world. But more importantly, what really drive me is meeting people that are truly genuine. In terms of the impact they create in the world. Because some of the celebrities, they are like. They do things just for PR purposes. Their heart's not truly in there, and those are not the people that I kind of want to meet. Uh, but I think for me, like, it's more importantly the kind of people that I want to meet are people that could help make things happen, like that could drive decision that benefits the people that I want to serve. And so who are those people? They are head of governments, presidents of countries, or uh, other ambassadors. So if you look at my status, because in fact the degree that I have at Columbia, my master's is in international affairs, and I specifically designed it this way because I knew for me to have the impact that I wanted to have in the world, I have to be able to influence policies, right? So you have to be able to tell government, this is what we want to do. This policy is creating problems for the people that we want to serve. And then we have to work on ways to change our policies. And as a nonprofit leader, you cannot just go and ask that. But because I have the knowledge, I have the program designed specifically in this way, I I usually work to make things happen like this, and which is what it works in most of the cases in my favor, because every year I get to go to the United Nations to represent Unspoken Smiles in the
Okay.
major discussions that are happening around the world. And in fact, we were the first and only dental organization accredited by the United Nations, you
Wow.
know and to that, because we specifically designed it this way, because we know uh, advocacy alone or charity alone will not make a difference. We have to be able to influence policies that make it easier for people uh, to 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 receive the help they need. And one of the policies that we're working on to ensure that dental care is included as part of the global agenda. And who's better to make those decisions? They are head of governments, the ministers of health, and the lawmakers, congress people. So I'm also deep into this kind of world.
I like the fact that you're sitting at the table with these big people. Like, think about it, you was in Port-au-Prince, right? And like,
Yeah, exactly.
and now you at these large tables sitting with some very very influential people. It goes to show
Absolutely.
it reminds me of the story you spoke about in the beginning about when you went to the principal and you were like, look, I think I belong in another higher class. Like, put me in there,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not afraid of that challenge. You're always looking to upscale and sell yourself and also your work. It's not like you're just sitting at a table and you're just there just because you're there for the show. Like, you're actually
Mhm.
providing value and also
Yeah.
input well that could also help influence and inspire future generations. So
Absolutely, absolutely. And in
you
fact, dental
moving.
care was never part of the major agenda. And if you look at two of the work that we've done to the United Nations, to the big voice we are pushing out there to major events, global events around the world, last year the WHO released the first ever report on oral health,
Wow.
and so this is a major step. So now, and as recently as last week, the Prime Minister of New Zealand just released a plan to make dental care free for all citizens under 30. So this is the first time
Under
ever
30.
under 30 years old, like making a preventative dental care free for all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's nice.
when you see me lobby government leader, and this is something I've been doing to the US. Every time I meet a president, I get the chance to meet them. I always push that idea and how I could contribute to them. And now to see the one of the highest government leader is promoting free dental care for its citizen, and I think this we are at the point where we're gonna see more leaders take action on that. And we were proud to say that there was like one Haitian, even though the noise wasn't make like as a huge noise to the work, but I have the track record of pushing that idea everywhere around the world. And in due times, we will get the proper credit and the proper support to scale this in a much bigger level.
Mm-hmm. And so you are really like dominating. I just want to say you are dominating. I know that, you know, just being an entrepreneur, philanthropist, like, you also have another title that's been lingering in the back. It's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, you're an inventor. You know, I want to know a little bit more about this patent that you
Yeah.
have and what does that mean moving forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, for me, it's important to not only educate people about the problem, but also give them the resources to develop healthy habits. One of the key resources that people need is a toothbrush. It's been proven if you brush your teeth, then you prevent a lot of problems, and our focus is on prevention. But the idea of creating my own toothbrush also came from rejections, because I find myself asking all these questions. Remember at the beginning, so I find myself being caught up in maximizing the resources, the free in kind gift, the pro bono service that I was able to get from organizations. So I say, hey, why do I need to raise money from people and to buy product when I can get it for free, right? So,
Mm,
but this kind of attitudes could only get you so far, right? Because there's only so much toothbrush could give you every year when you return again and ask them, Colgate, can you give me 20,000 toothbrush for these kids for this year? So at some point of life, they will come and say, no, we cannot give you this year. There are other people as well. And something as a toothbrush is very critical to what we're trying to do. So I kind of figure out what is the way that I can do to be less dependent on those kind of things. And because I was like rejected to through a programs that where I really needed the toothbrush to travel to those communities, I didn't get them. So that I said, you know what, enough is enough. I'm gonna work to build my own to create my own toothbrush. But because of my involvement with the United Nations, I really wanted to build again something that is unique, that is different, that doesn't exist. And that's where the idea of, and at that time, climate action was like a really major topics. So how
Mm,
we should contribute to the environment, to the betterment of the climate. So I think, that's when I started to think, hey, people are throwing millions of toothbrush, into the oceans and the sea, that creates a lot of problem impact in the environment. So how could I make my toothbrush different? So that's why um, the toothbrush that I created, and which I'm the first Haitian ever to receive a patent for a toothbrush,
let's
probably a
go.
black
Just
person.
keep
Yeah.
just keep adding to your legacy. Just
Yes.
keep
Yeah.
adding.
Yeah. That
Wow.
toothbrush is uh, eco-friendly, and is designed to help with the waste of toothbrush and plastic into the oceans created by toothbrushes disposals. And one toothbrush is valid for an entire year, so it's serve both purpose of uh, healthy and also being eco-friendly and biodegradable. So that way, like it is recommended that you change your brush every 3 months. So that one toothbrush that I created have is valid for, it could be used for an entire year without the need to throw them away because it's biodegradable. And the
Mm-hmm.
brushes are stored inside the handles. So that way, for people who live far in the mountains with and not close to a store where they are, so they could use that one toothbrush for the entire year without having to worry about going to a store to buy a toothbrush. It could be available right in the palm of their hands and develop healthy habits for the entire year. So that's what's
Mm,
special about the
mm,
toothbrush.
mm. Well, congratulations on that. Like you said, you're the first. That is wow. That's big.
Thank you, thank
That's
you.
big. I mean,
Yeah,
you not only did you get a patent for. I mean, first off, let's talk about it's a toothbrush, right? Something that's
yeah,
a household thing that
yeah.
everyone should have access to, right? Some people might
Hmm.
not, but for the most part, people across the world. So the fact that you have access or you've built something that everyone, not just a small community of people, like it's not even you have the patent to like a certain car. I mean, some people want to
Hmm.
drive
Yeah,
that car, right?
yeah, yeah.
But everybody's gonna want to brush their teeth. Wow.
Exactly.
So
And
yeah,
and
that's big.
especially if you know the benefits to the environment, there's like a lot of socially conscious people that are like really aware of the impact of in the environment could use that. People who live far away from ordinary life, and organizations like the World Bank can benefit from there. People from the military complex who oftentimes travel to war and rely on long terms away from home could use that, like people going to space, we're spending a lot of time in space, could so it's long-term purposes, like one toothbrush valid for an entire year. You don't have to save, you have to buy new ones, you don't have to travel to pay travel costs to go to the store to buy
Yeah, yeah,
new
yeah.
toothbrush. Just it solves so many issues for people all at once
That's
in the
nice.
environment.
That's nice. Congratulations again on that.
Thank
And
you
I
so
know
much. Thank
you
you.
must, and with all this traveling, obviously, I know you do a lot of speaking engagements, right? I know you
Hmm.
have like key
Yeah.
messages aimed to global conferences, colleges, and like
Hmm.
Fortune 500 companies. Could you
Hmm.
talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, all those things you usually get invitations. Sometimes uh, I could go to a conference because I started that just speaking engagement at the United Nations as a youth delegate. I went in 2014 where I get my first opportunity to speak to over 1,000 young leaders from around the world to tell them about my story, where I came from, and knowing that I speak with a Haitian accent in English, and that was one of the scariest moments of my life, to be able to stand on the stage as prestigious as the United Nations in front of young people from different places around the world, to be able to communicate my idea and being myself really put me in a position where I felt unstoppable, because if you it's one thing to be able to create a program, but you have to be able to communicate what you are doing. And if you're not a good communicator, you cannot we will not be able to receive support for your project, you know. And one of my biggest fear was speaking, public speaking. And when I had the opportunity, and even right before I get on the stage, I contemplated quitting and told those organizers that I'm not going to be able to do it. I was shaking until the first moment I started to talk and open my mouth. And then I saw the silence in the room because of the tone of my voice also is like a little bit low. So I saw people paying attention. Then I became unstoppable. I continued. And then at the end of the day of the speech, as the young people coming over to me on the side to talk to me, get my contact, and take pictures with me. That was like one of the greatest moments ever for me. And from that moment, like other people who were part of the program started inviting me to speak at other events in London at the Trust Conference, where I also became fellows. And and yeah, so and also spoke at Columbia University to other young student, graduate students, and undergrads. So all these things started because I challenged one of the biggest fear that I had, and and then that's one thing I really encourage people. When you're in the field working on those things, there are certain things that you must be able to do in order to accomplish your success in your model. And uh, public speaking and communicating your idea is one of the most important things that you could develop and work for. And because I was scared of that, I was always aware of that, but I was never able or wanted to tackle this issue until the opportunity presented for me to be at the UN and speak about my project, which was both exciting and nerve wracking. But God helped me challenge one of the biggest fear that I had, and then from there I ended up giving a TED talk, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and which also was like another challenging because the TED talk you cannot look, everything has to be like from natural on stage and
Yep.
be
Yep.
featured on the TED platform. So this was like another major achievement for me. And then following that, because I'm in the nature of always helping people, leveraging all the success that I have and put it back toward people who may need to achieve the same. So I ended up receiving a license to organize my own TEDx events, which I did that for 2 years and bringing over 20 plus speakers from different world, including celebrities and major Fortune 500 companies to speak on my event and give them the opportunity to give their own TED talk, and we have Terrence J, the celebrity guy, to host the events for us. So, I mean, I'm all about leveraging all my successes and my resources towards helping other people who may have been in the same situation as me.
And you definitely showcase that. Just the way you speak about it, like everything connects. Like nothing is
Hmm.
like I did this. Sometimes when you're hustling or you're trying to get something out there, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do this, and this, and this, and hopefully it all makes
Hmm.
sense. But everything you're doing seems like you're taking those calculated risks, and also it has a systematic
Exactly.
approach. That's why you're getting met with nothing but the best results because it's being filtered
Hmm.
down this channel, and everything is just aligning evenly. So I commend you for kind of creating that. That's a very,
Thank
very
you.
hard
Thank
thing
you.
to do,
Hmm.
when you're trying to juggle all those things at once.
Hmm.
And yeah, but John Paul, man, you definitely gave a lot of great gems in the show this today, and I really
Yeah.
just admire your journey and what you're doing. And I like the fact that you really did express, there's ways of making it, and you don't have to spend your capital first. Like you could find,
Exactly.
avenues out there to know that, you have taken that approach and,
Hmm.
being the first Haitian to get a patent toothbrush. Like
Hmm.
you've done a lot. And you
Absolutely.
like you said, you came from Haiti, where it wasn't at that time. It wasn't as glamorous
Hmm.
as life could be right now. I think there's one last question I want to ask you is, as an immigrant leader, like, what advice would you give to like aspiring like social entrepreneurs and individuals looking to like make a positive impact in their community?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question. So again, as I mentioned, like before, many circumstances can propel people to do something in life, you know. And for me, again, it was the tragedy that led me into this life. You know, it's not really something that I wanted to do, but God chose me to do this, and I like went full force in helping me, Him guide me to where I am today. But one of the things that would tell other immigrants or young people in Haiti who are looking for inspiration, which oftentimes they do not know where to turn into and who to look for inspiration, especially in our community, is to really focus on one thing that you know and you're really passionate about, and then go full force and build around that. You know, for me, that one thing about me that was a negative thing that I was using for a negative purpose by being a people pleaser, always wanted to make people laugh and got me in trouble where I got kicked out. I leveraged that situation to turn it into a positive thing that complete still today still help me in my life. I still make people happy. I still make people smile, but in a more positive way, right? And
Mhm.
that's why I would tell people if if you really want something, you have to pick one thing. Don't try to focus on many things all at once. Even if it's not working, just focus on one thing that you do best, that you're passionate about, and then build everything that you want around that. You know, even if it's not one thing is not successful, it's okay to pivot, but build everything else you're trying to do around that one thing that you really care about. And always and or the people that you want to serve, and then you'll see the result, you know.
Well, you're slaying away, man. You are slaying away, man. Congratulations on all your success. Nothing but the
Thank you.
best when it comes up with the unspoken smile. Kudos to you for taking that commitment to go back to Haiti during that time, because you never know what you're gonna what's gonna come, but you have to go through the doors first to receive
Exactly.
the next envelope. And I feel like every door you've been
Mhm.
going through, you've been receiving those gifts and those blessings to lead you to the next thing. And I can only imagine what the new year and the many more years to come, what's it going to look like for
Mhm.
you. So congratulations again. And I just really want to let the listeners know, if you want to hear more inspirational stories like Jean Paul, please check us out on ZakaConnect.com. Follow our social at Zaka Connect, and follow our feed, Zaka, wherever you listen to your podcast.